What's up, everyone? This is Collectors Million here with Collectors Nation. Today, I wanted to talk about, I was already having a conversation, and in the collector space, collectors are fanatics and they're always putting money into the space. And it's not just Pokemon cards, it's, I was talking to a friend who actually collects figures, and at what point do you take those gains over keeping something that's just sitting there, And I was having a conversation with a close friend about this, and my perspective, especially when I would do like Funko Pops and I would collect them, I would buy two. I'll buy more than one, because for me, if I had the opportunity to, because you don't always have the opportunity to, especially how crazy the Pokemon space is, but I would always buy more than one to try to either pay for the second one, so that when it comes to money, like, hobbies get very expensive, very, very quickly. There's always another one, in the world that we live in, everything moves so fast, and I would always buy more than one if I had the opportunity to. Once it doubled in value, I would sell the other one and, keep the other one for free, and that generally worked for me for a while. And that still does bring up the question, though. I've had Funko Pops that go from, for example, $15 to $700. But excuse me, on the way up going to $700, you see it hit $100, $200, $300, $400, $500, and at what point do you guys decide to sell? Me personally, unless I need the money or I'm putting the money somewhere else, I usually hold on to it because I like collecting things. I like, my Funko Pops, I always kept them sealed. I might have like one or two open that I still have, but at what point do you look at it and say, hey, do I get rid of it? And I was having this conversation earlier, and for me, what I like to do is, unless I'm gonna use that money to buy a different collectible, a different version of the same character, or something that I may enjoy more for the time being, and I like to budget. I don't just spend money on figures or on pops or on cards. I do collect One Piece cards, and I do collect Pokemon cards. If it's outside of my budget and I feel like, hey, I really want this, what I'll do is I'll get rid of some of my collection and I'll start purchasing the new things that I do want, changing my positions in collectibles. And this brings up the question, but what if you only get one? What if you can't get multiple of what it is that you want? Well, in my perspective, I think the best way to and this is not financial advice, this is just me telling you what I do. I like to save my money in things that I like, where it's not easy to spend, it's liquid, and if I did need the money in case of an emergency, I can go get the money. For example, gold. I have a gold collection as well. Pokemon cards. I have a Pokemon collection, sealed and unsealed. But what I like to do is I like to hold my money in things that hold value, even if it goes down. For example, if you have $40 in your bank account, $20 in your bank account, you would probably go and spend that on food, on something that you're never gonna, you just spend it just because you have it, because it seems like an insignificant amount of money. But think about you doing that over the span of the year. Let's say you get paid twice a week, that's $40 a month. $40 a month times 20, times 12 is $480. That's almost $500 more that you would have. Whether it goes up, whether it goes down, whether it stays the same. If you were to have $20 there, you would more than likely spend it. If you put it into something that holds value, let's say it even goes down. Let's say it goes down half to $240. You most likely would have spent that $20 anyways, right? Because $20 does not seem there's so many times where I've seen people where they have $20 left in their bank account and they'll go and they'll spend it. So to me, you buying something and holding on to something, whether it goes up or whether it goes down, there's value in that, because that's kind of like a savings account without actually having a savings account. And I like to personally save in things that you can't spend right away, but if you did need the money, you can go get the money fairly easily. It makes you second guess, like, hey, am I just spending this, or is this truly an emergency where I need the money? Gold, I could just go take it to a pawn shop and just get the money right there the same day. So that you buying something that you like and you hold on to, right? Like Pokemon cards, sealed Pokemon cards is what I like to collect, and then the cards that I like. There's value in it because you still have access to those funds. If in a year or two you get an opportunity, let's say you're doing this for 5 years, just collecting for 5 years, over 5 years, and you don't got to spend nothing crazy. $20. If you spend $20 and it makes or breaks you, you got some other things to figure out. But $20 can change your life over a long period of time if you continue to compound that. I mean, think about you doing it for 5 years. That's almost $2,000-$3,000, which may not seem like the world, but $2,000-$3,000 right now can change a lot of people's lives. There's a lot of people who couldn't even come up with $500, $1,000 if they needed to, unfortunately. So we were talking about, back to the topic. When you are in the collector space, and it just depends on where you're at. There's people who couldn't spend thousands of dollars. I've seen it. People spend thousands of dollars and not even feel it. But if you're in a position where you need money, then yeah, liquidate. Go ahead and sell. If you have an opportunity, if you're doing it for an investment, if you feel like you have a better opportunity, like where your money will produce, better results, like for example in the Pokemon space, going from one set to another, yeah, go ahead and do it. But I'm not a fan of just selling my stuff just to sell it, especially if it's something that I still enjoy. That's another thing too that we did speak about. If you no longer enjoy it, I mean, get rid of it. Why is it sitting there? If you're not taking care of it, if it's just collecting dust, like, and you're not even appreciating it, why do you have it? Unless it, but if you're using it for an investment, you don't just let your investments sit there and collect dust. You have to store them properly and figure out, things like that. And if you agree with me, you disagree with me, it's okay. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions. Please leave a comment letting me know what you think and what you guys do. Again, this is Collectors Million. We're Collectors Nation. Have a wonderful day.